The industry surrounding disaster preparedness often centers on the idea of off-grid mobility. Marketing showcases the bug-out vehicle, a truck capable of crossing rivers and climbing mountains, designed to carry you away from a failing city and into the wilderness. This strategy is built on the premise that the road system will remain a viable tool for travel. It assumes that while the city is in chaos, the interstates will stay open long enough for a prepared driver to reach the perimeter. However, an internal combustion engine is not a survival tool in isolation. It is part of a larger system, requiring forward momentum and empty space to function. When that system is overwhelmed, the mechanical advantages of a four-wheel drive vehicle become irrelevant. During a zero-hour event, you aren't the only one with an evacuation plan. Millions of people will flood those same routes simultaneously, minutes of an emergency declaration. Once the lanes are saturated, the vehicle stops being a means of escape. It becomes a heavy, static box of supplies sitting in an exposed location, completely dependent on a road network that has ceased to move. We saw the limits of this infrastructure during the 2005 Hurricane Rita evacuation in Houston. The attempt to move millions of people simultaneously resulted in a 100-mile standstill. Some drivers remained in the same spot for nearly a full day. The physics of the road are uncompromising. An optimal four-lane highway is designed to move roughly 8,000 vehicles per hour. When 2 million people attempt to use that same highway at once, the demand exceeds the physical capacity by 250 times. This volume creates a cascade of mechanical failures. Minor collisions cannot be cleared because emergency vehicles can't reach them. Engines overheat in the stop-and-go crawl, and abandoned cars further narrow the available space, eventually bringing the flow to a complete stop. While the traffic is frozen, your resources are depleting. A typical truck burns roughly half a gallon of fuel every hour just to keep the engine idling and the air conditioning running. If you are caught in this gridlock, you will likely run out of fuel long before you reach the city limits. At that point, the vehicle is no longer a transport. It is a stationary target for anyone else stranded on that same stretch of asphalt. Beyond the sheer volume of cars, the physical design of a highway is a tactical liability. Roads are linear, forcing all movement along a predictable path that cannot be diverted or changed once you are hemmed in by other vehicles. This leads to what military tacticians call a fatal funnel. These are geographic choke points, bridges, tunnels, or narrow overpasses, where movement is restricted to a single direction with no lateral escape routes. For those looking to exploit a crisis, these funnels are high-value locations. Instead of searching for supplies, a group can simply wait at a bridge or tunnel for the gridlock to deliver a steady stream of vehicles packed with food, fuel, and gear. In this environment, the driver has no mobility and no concealment. You are trapped in a glass and steel container, surrounded by thousands of other desperate people, with no way to turn around or move off the road. By funneling millions of people into these narrow, indefensible corridors, the infrastructure itself turns an evacuation attempt into a predictable trap for anyone who doesn't beat the initial rush. Statistics suggest only one viable way to use highways during a collapse: a Tier 1 evacuation, which relies entirely on timing. To beat system failure, you must depart within the first 60 minutes. This is the narrow window before mass migration causes total gridlock. If that 60-minute window closes and you are still at home, attempting to leave will only place you in the middle of the stall. In this scenario, the safest course of action is to abort the evacuation. This is the logic of bugging in. By fortifying your primary residence and relying on a pre-stocked pantry, you avoid the vulnerability of the highway entirely, trading the illusion of mobility for the security of a fixed, defensible position. The numbers show that once the highways reach their limit, your chances of reaching safety in a vehicle drop towards zero. Surviving a societal collapse isn't about how fast your truck can go. It's about knowing when the road has already become a trap.